You are sitting there, staring at a screen that has become the only source of light in your room. It is late, or maybe it is early. Time stops mattering when you are grinding. You are tired. You are exhausted in a way that sleep cannot fix because it is a weariness of the soul, not the body. You have done everything right. You read the books. You took the courses. You showed up early. You stayed late. You optimized your workflow. You delivered quality. You were honest. You were reliable. You were good, and you are broke. Maybe not starving broke, but stuck broke. You are nowhere near that first million. You aren't even on the trajectory. You are running on a treadmill that someone else built, sweating for a prize that keeps moving further away. And while you sit there, rubbing your eyes, trying to figure out what variable you missed, you see him. You know exactly who I am talking about. The guy who isn't half as smart as you, the guy who doesn't check his sources, the guy who overpromises and underdelivers, the guy who walks into a room with unearned confidence, shakes a few hands, says a few buzzwords, and walks out with the check. The promotion, the client, the money, it makes your blood boil. You feel a physical tightness in your chest when you look at him. You tell yourself, he's a fraud. Eventually they will see. Eventually the truth will come out. Merit wins in the end. Pause. Stop lying to yourself. That narrative, that belief that the good guy wins and hard work pays off, that is the specific poison keeping you poor. You are suffering from a terminal case of idealism. You are playing a game of chess where you are the only one following the rules, while your opponent is setting the board on fire and declaring victory. And until you understand why he is winning and you are losing, you will never, and I mean never, see that first million. This is the uncomfortable truth that Niccolò Machiavelli tried to scream at us 500 years ago, and you are still too polite to hear it. Machiavelli didn't write The Prince for evil people. He wrote it for people like you who were getting crushed because they refused to see the world as it actually is. He wrote it because he saw the good leaders getting slaughtered by the ruthless ones. He realized that the effectual truth, the way things actually happen, has nothing to do with the imaginary world of moral meritocracy you live in. Here is the reality of your situation. You think the market rewards quality. You think the market rewards effort. You are wrong. The market rewards perception. The market rewards leverage. The market rewards power. When you sit there silently doing good work, waiting to be noticed, you are handing your fate to someone else. You are hoping for a benevolence that does not exist in the machinery of capitalism. Machiavelli's no BS guide to making your first million starts with a single, brutal realization. You must stop wishing for a world where nice equals rich. A man who wishes to make a profession of goodness in everything must necessarily come to grief among so many who are not good. Read that again. If you insist on being good in the traditional, submissive, rule-following sense, you will be destroyed by those who are not. The guy who stole your promotion, he understands this. He knows that the game isn't about doing the work, it's about claiming the credit. He knows that the first million isn't made by following the manual, it is made by writing the manual for everyone else. You look at him, and you see a liar. Machiavelli looks at him and sees a prince, because that liar understands human nature better than you do. He knows that people do not follow competence, they follow conviction. He knows that people do not buy the best product, they buy the most dominant story. While you are busy fact-checking your footnotes, he is busy conquering the narrative. And because he conquers the narrative, he conquers the capital. This hurts to hear. I know it does. It triggers that defensive mechanism in your brain that screams, but I want to do it the right way. I want to have integrity. Let's talk about your integrity. Is it integrity to let your potential rot because you are too afraid to seize power? Is it integrity to stay broke and unable to help your family because you refuse to learn the dark arts of influence? Is it integrity to be a victim? Machiavelli's guide to your first million demands that you slaughter your naivety. You have to look at that unfair advantage the other guy has and stop judging it. Stop calling it toxic. Stop calling it cheating. Start studying it. Because that unfairness is simply a mechanism you haven't learned how to operate yet. You are standing at the base of a mountain. You have a heavy backpack full of rules. Wait your turn. Don't brag. Be humble. Let the work speak for itself. And you are watching people sprint past you, unencumbered, because they dropped that backpack miles ago. This documentary is not about telling you to become a monster. It is about telling you to become a player. It is about waking you up to the fact that you are in a war zone, and you walked out carrying a bouquet of flowers. The first million is the hardest money you will ever make, because it requires you to break the gravitational pull of your own conditioning. It requires you to stop being the employee. Even if you run your own business, you still think like an employee and start thinking like a sovereign. The gap between where you are and that $1 million is not a gap in skill. It is not a gap in intelligence. It is a gap in your willingness to accept the uncomfortable truth about power. You have spent your whole life trying to be the good boy or the good girl. You wanted the gold star. You wanted the teacher to pat you on the head. And now you are an adult, and you are realizing that the teacher isn't coming. The gold stars are worthless, and the people who didn't care about being good are the ones signing your paycheck. This is the meritocracy lie. It is the cage you built for yourself. And Machiavelli is handing you the key. But to turn it, you have to be willing to get your hands dirty. You have to be willing to look at the world without flinching. You have to be ready to accept that to get to heaven, you might have to walk through hell. You are walking into a negotiation. Maybe it's for a salary, maybe it's a client contract, maybe it's a partnership. You have prepared, you have the spreadsheets, you have the logic. You know mathematically that you are right. You sit down, you present your case, and you wait for them to agree, but they don't agree. They look at you with cold eyes and say, "No, this is the offer, take it or leave it." And you freeze. You do the math in your head. You think, well, some money is better than no money. You think, I don't want to ruin the relationship. You think, I'll prove my worth later. So you sign. You shake hands, you smile. And the moment you walk out of that room, you feel sick. You know you just got robbed. You know you just sold your future for pennies. You were the fox. You were smart. You saw the angles, but you had no teeth. And because you had no teeth, the wolves ate you alive. Now flip the script. You are the other guy, the grinder, the hustler. You don't overthink things. You take action. You post the content. You launch the product. You scream your message from the rooftops. You are aggressive. You are relentless. You think brute force is the answer to everything. And then you get the cease and desist letter. Or you realize you built a product for a market that doesn't exist. Or you trusted a partner who smiled at your face while he was rewriting the operating agreement behind your back. You charged forward with so much force that you ran straight off a cliff. You were the lion. You were brave. You were strong. But you were blind. And because you were blind, you walked right into the trap. This is the pattern that keeps you stuck in the 5-figure range. You are playing the game with half a deck. You have decided that your personality is fixed. I'm an introvert, I'm a thinker, or I'm a doer, I'm a fighter. Machiavelli looks at your personality and laughs. He wrote the most famous dichotomy in power dynamics for a reason. The lion cannot protect himself from traps, and the fox cannot defend himself from wolves. One must therefore be a fox to recognize traps, and a lion to frighten wolves. Listen to me closely. The path to your first million is not about finding your authentic self. It is about killing your authentic self and birthing a hybrid. You are failing because you are predictable. If you are just a fox, smart, analytical, cunning, people will sense your fear of conflict. They will know that if they push you hard enough, you will fold. They will use your own logic against you. They will trap you in endless meetings, endless revisions, endless let's circle back loops until you are broke. They know you won't bite. If you are just a lion, loud, aggressive, dominant, people will see you coming from a mile away. They won't fight you head on. They aren't stupid. They will set snares. They will use your ego as bait. They will let you charge into a room and make a fool of yourself. They know you can't see the snare. To make $1 million, you have to be schizophrenic in your strategy. You need to be the fox when you are analyzing the market, when you are reading the contract, when you are looking at your competitor's funnel and realizing exactly where they are weak. You need the cunning to see the trap before you step in it. You need to smile and play the fool while you are gathering intelligence. But the exact moment, it is time to close, the moment they try to lowball you, the moment an employee tries to hold you hostage, you must instantly skin the fox and become the lion. You stop smiling. You stop analyzing. You look them in the eye and you let them see the capacity for violence. Not physical violence, but professional violence. The capacity to walk away. The capacity to fire. The capacity to sue. The capacity to burn the bridge if they don't pay the toll. You need them to feel that you are dangerous. Most of you are terrified of being dangerous. You think it makes you a bad person. You want to be reasonable. Reasonable people do not make $1 million. Reasonable people get paid a salary by unreasonable people. Think about the wealthiest person you know personally. Not a celebrity, someone you have actually met. Think about how they handle conflict. They are charming, fox. They make you feel special, fox. But have you ever seen them when someone tries to take what is theirs? The temperature in the room drops. The charm evaporates. And suddenly, you are looking at a predator. That switch. That ability to toggle between the diplomat and the executioner. That is the skill. You are currently stuck because you are over-indexing on one side. You are the genius developer who can't negotiate equity. You are the charismatic salesperson who signs bad contracts. You are the visionary who gets embezzled from. Machiavelli's no BS guide requires you to audit your own nature. Where are you getting slaughtered? Are you walking into traps? Then you need more fox. Are you getting eaten by wolves? Then you need more lion. You cannot outsource this. You cannot hire a lion to protect you because eventually that lion will realize he is stronger than you and he will eat you too. You must embody both. You must be able to sit in silence and plot, fox, and then stand up and strike, lion. The first million comes when you stop being a victim of your own nature and start using it as a weapon. You hire your first employee, or maybe a freelancer, or you sign a big client. And you decide right then and there that you are going to be different. You aren't going to be like those cold corporate types. You are going to be the cool boss. You are going to be the flexible partner. You tell them, hey, we're a family here. I trust you. Just get the work done. You overlook the first time they are late. You smile when the client calls you at 9 p.m. on a Sunday because you want to be supportive. You undercharge because you want them to like working with you. You build your entire business strategy on the foundation of being a nice person. And it works for a little while. They smile back. They tell you you're great. You feel warm and fuzzy inside. Then the deadline approaches, and they miss it. They have an excuse. Their cat is sick. Their internet is down. They're just overwhelmed. And because you built a relationship on friendship, you can't get angry. You have to be understanding. So you say, it's okay, just get it to me when you can. Now watch closely what happens next. They don't respect your kindness. They devour it. The late deliveries become standard. The 9 p.m. calls become 11 p.m. demands. The employee you treated like family asks for a raise despite doing half the work, and when you hesitate, they quit and leave you high and dry in the middle of a launch. Or worse, they take your intellectual property and start their own thing. You are left standing there, heartbroken, asking, after everything I did for them, how could they do this? You fell for the oldest trap in human history. You thought love was a currency. You thought if you deposited kindness, you could withdraw loyalty. Machiavelli is shaking his head at you. He warned you about this explicitly. Love is held by a chain of obligation which, because men are a sorry lot, is broken at every opportunity for their own self-interest. But fear is held by a dread of punishment which never fails. Let that sink in. Love is broken at every opportunity for self-interest. That client loves you as long as you are cheap and available. The moment you raise your prices or set a boundary, the love evaporates. That employee loves you as long as the job is easy. The moment you demand performance, the love turns to resentment. If you want to make your first million, you have to stop trying to be loved and start building a structure where you are feared. Now, pause. Stop imagining a tyrant screaming at people. That is not power. That is insecurity. I am not talking about abuse. I am talking about the fear of consequence, the fear of loss. When you are trying to be loved, you are the one afraid of losing them. When you are feared, respected, they are afraid of losing you. That is the shift. To make $1 million, you must become a scarce resource. You must be the prize. When a client works with you, they should have a low-level anxiety that if they don't pay on time, if they are disrespectful, if they waste your time, you will cut them off. And because you are the best at what you do, the lion and the fox, losing you would actually hurt them. This is professional fear. It is the quiet understanding that your boundaries are electric fences, not suggestions. It is the knowledge that you are willing to walk away from a bad deal instantly. It is the realization that while you are fair, you are not weak. Look at the billionaires. Do people love Elon? Do people love Bezos? Some do, some don't. It doesn't matter. They don't need your love. But do people respect them? Do people fear competing against them? Do employees know that if they don't perform, they are out? Absolutely. You are broke because you are prioritizing social comfort over financial respect. You are afraid that if you are firm, people will think you're mean. So what? Let them think you're mean. Let them think you're difficult. Let them call you a shark. While they are gossiping about your attitude, they are wiring money to your account because they know you deliver and they know they can't mess with you. Machiavelli teaches us that it is safer to be feared than loved because you control the fear. You generate it through your competence and your boundaries. Love. Love is in their hands. You have no control over it. Relying on love is betting your business on the whims of others. Relying on respect is betting on yourself. The first million requires you to look at your team, your clients, and your partners and ask, do they respect me enough to fear disappointing me? If the answer is no, you don't have a business. You have a hobby where you pay people to be your friends. You are waiting for your big break. Admit it. Deep down in the quiet corners of your mind, you believe that one day the clouds will part, the algorithm will pick you, the investor will discover you, and everything will click. You are buying lottery tickets. They might not be paper tickets with numbers on them. They are hope tickets. You post a video and hope it goes viral. You send an email and hope they reply. You launch a product and hope people buy it. You are betting your life on Fortuna. And Fortuna, the ancient goddess of luck, despises you for it. Machiavelli saw this 500 years ago. He looked at the failed princes of Italy and saw men who were drifting on a river, waiting for the current to take them to the palace. But the river doesn't care about you. The river floods. The river dries up. The river drowns you. This is the most critical philosophical distinction you will ever make in your financial life. The war between fortuna, luck, and virtue, prowess. When Machiavelli says virtue, he does not mean being a good person. He does not mean being honest or pious. The Latin root virtu implies virility, strength, excellence, and the raw capacity to get things done. It is the ability to impose your will upon the chaos of the world. You are broke because you have high morality and low virtue. You are a good person who is incompetent at shaping reality. The millionaire looks at luck differently. He knows luck exists. He knows the river is powerful, but he does not float. He builds dams. He builds dikes. He builds canals. Machiavelli wrote, "I compare fortune to one of those violent rivers which, when they are enraged, flood the plains, tear down trees and buildings. Yet, though they are of such a nature, it does not follow that when the weather is calm, men should not make provision with defenses and barriers." Here is what that looks like in your life. The amateur you launches a business. The market crashes, the river floods. You say, "Oh, it's just bad luck. The economy is bad. I couldn't have predicted this." You fold. You fail. You blame the universe. The prince, the millionaire, launches a business. The market crashes, but he has virtue. He has a cash reserve, the dam. He has a pivot strategy, the canal. He has diversified income streams, the barriers. The flood comes, and instead of drowning, he redirects the water to power his mill. He gets richer because of the chaos, not in spite of it. This is the psychological switch. You have to stop being a creature of circumstance and become a creature of preparation. Every time you say, "I hope," you are admitting you have no power. I hope the client says yes. No. You didn't frame the pitch well enough. You didn't handle the objections. You didn't build enough value. You left it up to fortuna. I hope I get the raise. No, you didn't make yourself indispensable. You didn't gather the leverage. You didn't force their hand. You left it up to fortuna. Machiavelli's most controversial line about this is often sanitized, but we are going to look it in the eye. He said that fortune is like a woman, and if you want to master her, you must be bold. You must be aggressive. She yields to the audacious, not the cautious. The market is the same. The market seduces the bold and ignores the timid. If you are sitting there carefully planning, waiting for the perfect time, waiting for everything to feel safe, you are already dead. Safety is the opposite of virtue. Virtue is the audacity to act before you are ready, but with the skill to handle the consequences. It is the refusal to be a victim of events. Look at your bank account. That number is not a reflection of your worth as a human being. It is a reflection of your virtue. It is a score that tells you how much control you have over your environment. If the number is low, it means the environment controls you. If the number is high, it means you control the environment. Stop waiting for the wind to blow in your direction. Grab the oars. If there are no oars, use your hands. If your hands bleed, use the blood to paint a war face that scares the competition. Force the outcome. That is the only way the first million happens. It is never given. It is wrested from the hands of fortuna by the sheer force of your virtue. You pride yourself on being balanced. You think it's a virtue. In meetings, you see both sides. In your market, you try to appeal to everyone. You don't want to alienate the budget customers, but you also want the premium ones. You don't want to offend the conservatives, but you also want the progressives. You think the path to the million is the path of least resistance, a smooth highway down the middle where everyone likes you. You are digging your own grave with a shovel made of compromise. In the pursuit of power and wealth, neutrality is not safety. Neutrality is suicide. Machiavelli was ruthless about this. He devoted an entire chapter to the concept that neutrality ruins princes. He explained that when two powers are fighting, whether it's two market trends, two office factions, or two competitors, and you decide to stay out of it, you have just guaranteed your destruction. Here is the math of neutrality. If you stay neutral, the winner will destroy you because you didn't help them win. They will see you as a doubtful friend. The loser will hate you because you didn't help them survive. You become the prey of the victor and the scorn of the vanquished. Apply this to your business. You launch a brand. You want it to be inclusive. You want it to be for everybody. So you dilute your message. You sand off the rough edges. You make your marketing safe, corporate, and beige. You think you are casting a wide net. But what you are actually doing is becoming invisible. In the attention economy, indifference is the only fatal disease. If 50% of people hate you and 50% of people love you, you are a millionaire. If 100% of people think you are okay, you are bankrupt. The first million is made at the edges, not in the center. The center is crowded. The center is where the commodities live. The center is where you compete on price because you have no other differentiator. You are scared to pick a side because you are scared of losing potential customers. You think, if I position myself as the premium exclusive option, I lose the mass market. Yes, exactly. You must lose them. You have to sacrifice the many to command the few. The moment you try to serve everyone, you serve no one. You become a utility. Water is useful, but it's cheap. Wine is specific, and it's expensive. You are trying to be water. Machiavelli urges you to be a true friend or a downright enemy. This applies to your career just as much as your business. Think about the corporate ladder. There is a war happening in your company right now between the old guard and the new disruptors. You are keeping your head down, trying to just do your job. You think your work will protect you. It won't. When the dust settles, whoever wins will look at you and ask, where were they when the bullets were flying? And because you were hiding in the bunker of neutrality, you will be replaced by a loyalist. To make a million, you must weaponize polarization. You need to stand for something so potential clients can rally around you. But to stand for something, you must stand against something else. You need an enemy. Maybe your enemy is corporate bureaucracy. Maybe your enemy is hustle culture. Maybe your enemy is bad design. I don't care what it is, but you must declare war on it. When you declare war, you create a tribe. People join you not just because they like your product, but because they share your enemy. That is the strongest psychological bond that exists. It's stronger than features. It's stronger than benefits. It's us vs. them. You are broke because you are trying to exist in a world without them. You are trying to be the nice guy who gets along with everyone. Stop it. Pick a niche. Pick a stance. Pick a fight. When you polarize, you filter. You repel the people who can't afford you or don't get it. Good. They waste your time. And you magnetically attract the people who resonate with your specific frequency. These are the people who pay high ticket. These are the people who become superfans. The fear you feel, the fear that people will be mad, is the exact signal that you are saying something worth paying for. If no one is offended by your pricing, you are too cheap. If no one disagrees with your marketing, you are too boring. If no one is criticizing your strategy, you are irrelevant. Machiavelli is handing you a sword. You can't use it to cut through the noise if you are afraid to sharpen the blade. The blade is your bias. The blade is your opinion. The blade is your choice to stop being a spectator and start being a combatant. Abandon the middle ground. The middle ground is where the roadkill lies. You are obsessed with being real. You wear the hoodie to the meeting because you want to be like Zuckerberg. You tell the client about your struggles because you want to be transparent. You admit when you don't know something because you want to be honest. You think that if you are just your authentic, messy, struggling self, the world will appreciate your sincerity. You are delusional. The world does not appreciate your sincerity. The world pities your mediocrity. And pity does not pay. We are entering the Hall of Mirrors. This is the single most important psychological hack for your first million, and it is the one you will resist the most because your parents taught you that it's what's inside that counts. Machiavelli spits on that idea. He wrote the definitive rule on personal branding 500 years before the internet existed. Everyone sees what you appear to be, few experience what you really are, and those few dare not contradict the reality of the many. Read that again. Everyone sees what you appear to be. When you walk into a room, nobody has access to your soul. Nobody sees your hard work. Nobody sees your integrity. Nobody sees your late nights. They see your shoes. They see your posture. They see the design of your slide deck. They see the lighting on your Zoom call. They see the price tag you put on your service. And from those surface-level photons hitting their retinas, they hallucinate your entire value. If you appear desperate, they assume you are incompetent. If you appear cheap, they assume you are low quality. If you appear uncertain, they assume you are risky. You are broke because you are waiting to be successful before you start signaling success. You have the equation backward. You think, once I make the million, I'll buy the nice suit. Once I make the million, I'll upgrade the website. Once I make the million, I'll act like a CEO. Wrong, you do those things to get the million. This is not fake it till you make it. That is advice for frauds. This is signaling theory. This is biological warfare. Look at nature. The lion grows a mane not to keep his neck warm, but to signal to other males that he is too expensive to fight. The peacock grows a tail not to fly better, but to signal to females that he has genetic excess. You need a mane. You are charging $50 an hour for your consulting because you don't want to overcharge. You think you are being humble. The client looks at that $50 and thinks, he must not be very good if he's that cheap. You are signaling your own worthlessness. If you changed nothing, absolutely nothing, about your skill level, but you raised your price to $500 an hour, wore a tailored jacket, and spoke with the slow, bored cadence of a man who doesn't need the money, that same client would beg to hire you. Why? Because you changed the appearance. And for 99% of the human race, appearance is reality. You hate this. I can feel you recoiling. You're thinking, but that's superficial. That's a lie, is it? You have the skills, don't you? You can solve the problem, can't you? Then why are you doing the world a disservice by dressing your solution in the rags of a beggar? By looking like an amateur, you are preventing people from trusting you enough to let you help them. Your authenticity is selfish. It is an excuse to be lazy with your presentation. Machiavelli teaches us that the prince must be a master of the mask. He doesn't say you should be a fraud. He says you must curate the version of yourself that is necessary for the conquest. If the situation requires a visionary, you wear the mask of the visionary. You don't talk about your spreadsheets, you talk about the future. If the situation requires a ruthless operator, you wear the mask of the operator. You don't talk about your dreams, you talk about the bottom line. You are currently walking through life with no mask, your face naked and readable to everyone. You are letting them see your fear, your doubt, your hesitation, and because they see it, they don't invest. They don't buy, they don't follow. The first million is an accumulation of trust, and people trust what looks like it should be trusted. Go look at your website. Does it look like $1 million company? No, then why would anyone give you $1 million? Go look at your email signature. Go look at your LinkedIn profile. Do they scream, I have already won? Or do they whisper, please give me a chance? You must construct a reality field. When people enter your orbit, everything, the font, the tone, the clothes, the silence, must confirm the hypothesis that you are a person of high value. You are the architect of your own reputation. If you build a shack, don't be surprised when people treat you like a peasant. If you build a palace, even if it's just a digital one, they will treat you like a king. Construct the palace. The treasury will follow. You are holding a scalpel. The patient is your business. There is a tumor, a toxic employee, a draining client, a legacy product that is losing money. You know it needs to go. You see it on the P&L. You feel it in the culture, but you don't cut. You hesitate. You think maybe they'll improve. You think, I'll give them one more month. You think, I don't want to be the bad guy. So instead of surgery, you prescribe aspirin. You have a chat with the employee. You send a gentle reminder to the client. You make a small tweak to the product. You are congratulating yourself on your compassion. You tell yourself you are a leader who cares. You are lying. You are not being kind. You are being cowardly. And worse, you are being cruel. Machiavelli draws a line in the sand that separates the wealthy from the weak. The distinction between cruelty, well used, and cruelty, badly used. Cruelty, well used, is done all at once. It is a sharp, sudden shock that solves the problem instantly. It hurts, yes. But then it is over. The wound heals. The patient survives. Cruelty, badly used, is the slow bleed. It is the firing you delay for 6 months, making that employee feel insecure, anxious, and worthless every single day, only to fire them anyway. It is the client you keep but secretly resent, giving them subpar work until they fire you in anger. You are choosing the slow bleed because you don't want to feel the momentary guilt of the knife. Imagine you have to fire someone. We've all been there. The nice guy, you, puts them on a performance improvement plan. You drag them into weekly meetings where you critique their failures. You watch their confidence crumble. You watch the atmosphere in the office turn toxic because everyone knows the axe is falling, but you won't swing it. You torture this human being for 90 days because you are too weak to say this isn't working on day one. That is true cruelty. That is the behavior of a sadist masquerading as a saint. The prince, the millionaire, calls them in. He looks them in the eye. He says, "This is the end. Here is your severance. Good luck." It is a shock. It is painful. But 10 minutes later, they are free to find a job where they can win, and you are free to find a player who can perform. Machiavelli wrote, "Injuries ought to be done all at one time, so that being tasted less, they offend less." This is the operational manual for difficult decisions on the road to your first million. You are going to have to make hard calls. You will have to raise prices on loyal customers. You will have to cut features people like but can't pay for. You will have to fire friends. If you do this slowly, if you raise the price by 5% every month, you will irritate them 12 times. You will create 12 moments of hatred if you raise it by 60% overnight. You create one moment of shock, one moment of anger, and then acceptance or departure. Either way, the noise stops. You are stuck in the 5-figure trap because you are managing by consensus and gradualism. You are trying to boil the frog without it noticing, but people aren't frogs. They notice, and they despise you for your lack of clarity. To make the million, you must become comfortable with the concept of the executioner's mercy. A clean kill is a mercy. A botched execution is torture. Look at your business right now. What is the one decision you have been putting off for 6 months? Who is the person you need to cut? What is the project you need to kill? You are waiting for the right time. There is no right time to hurt someone's feelings. There is no right time to admit a mistake. Every day you wait, you are spending your virtue. You are leaking authority. Your team watches you tolerate mediocrity, and they lose respect for you. They see you letting that bad client walk all over you, and they realize you have no backbone. You think you are keeping the peace. You are actually declaring war on your own standards. Pick up the scalpel. Stop shaking. The first million demands that you protect the entity, the business, over the feelings of the individual. If the business dies, everyone loses their job. Everyone loses their investment. To save the kingdom, the prince must sometimes be the villain of the moment. Do it. Do it today. Do it all at once. Rip the band-aid off so fast it takes the hair with it. They might hate you for an hour, but they will respect you for a lifetime because you had the guts to be clear. And you will finally be free of the drag, ready to sprint toward the wealth that waits for those who can make the hard calls. You are scrolling through Twitter or LinkedIn, and you see that guy. The CEO who posts crying selfies. The founder who writes long threads about his imposter syndrome and how he doesn't know what he's doing. He thinks he is being vulnerable. He thinks he is building a connection with his audience. And you cringe, you don't feel inspired. You feel embarrassed for him. You wouldn't trust him with $5, let alone $1 million investment. Why? Because he looks weak. He looks unstable. You have just experienced the most dangerous emotion in the entire spectrum of human power dynamics. Contempt. Machiavelli spent pages warning the prince about this. He said you can survive being hated. Hatred often comes from being powerful and severe, but you cannot survive being despised. The prince must guard himself, above all things, against being despised and hated, and liberality leads you to both. What is contempt? Contempt is the feeling that you are beneath consideration. It is the eye roll. It is the snicker in the break room. It is the investor ghosting you not because they are angry, but because they forgot you existed. You are courting contempt every single day, and you don't even know it. You do it when you are fickle. Monday, you tell your team, we are going all in on video. Wednesday, you watch a documentary and say, actually, let's pivot to AI. Friday, you read a book and say, no, the future is community. Your team doesn't think you are agile. They think you are a leaf blowing in the wind. They stop listening to you. They nod, they smile, and they wait for you to change your mind again. You have become irrelevant in your own kingdom. You do it when you are irresolute. You are in a meeting. A decision needs to be made. Should we fire the vendor? You say, well, let's wait and see. Let's gather more data. Let's not be hasty. You think you are being prudent. Everyone else sees a leader who is terrified of leading. They smell the cowardice. And the moment they smell cowardice, their respect dies, never to return. Machiavelli identified the specific traits that generate contempt, being changeable, frivolous, effeminate, mean-spirited, irresolute. Translate that to the 21st century. Frivolous. You are focused on the logo color instead of the revenue model. Effeminate, in the Renaissance sense of softness. You complain about the work. You whine about the grind. You want the reward without the sweat. Mean-spirited. You pinch pennies on the coffee budget while asking people to work overtime. To make the first million, you must cultivate gravitas. Gravitas is the antidote to contempt. It is weight. It is the sense that you are a solid object in a world of liquid. When you speak, you don't use filler words. You don't say, I think, or maybe. You say, we are doing this. And then you do it. Even if it is the wrong decision, the fact that you made it with conviction commands more respect than the right decision made with hesitation. You need to stop trying to be relatable to your employees and your market. Relatability is for friends. You are not their friend. You are their leader. You are their guide. If the guide is lost, the hikers panic. If the guide sits down and cries about how hard the mountain is, the hikers revolt. You think you are humanizing yourself. You are actually delegitimizing yourself. There is a terrifying moment in every business where the team looks at the founder and asks, does this person actually have the wheel? If the answer is no, you are finished. They will steal from you. They will leave you. They will crush you. Not out of malice, but out of disgust. How do you avoid contempt consistency? decisiveness, courage. If you say you are going to do something, it must happen. It must be as inevitable as gravity. If you set a standard, you must embody it. You cannot be the idea guy who is always late to the meeting. You cannot be the visionary who never pays the bills on time. You must be the anchor. Look at your behavior this week. Did you backtrack? Did you apologize for a standard you set? Did you ask for permission to lead? Stop it. The world wants to be led. It is desperate for authority. It is begging for someone to stand up and say, "This is the way, follow me." But they will only follow if they believe you are stronger than they are. If you are just like them, scared, confused, wavering, why should they pay you? Why should they follow you? They won't. They will look at you with that deadly, silent sneer, and your bank account will reflect their contempt with a balance of 0. You are sitting there, perhaps feeling a bit self-righteous. You are thinking, okay, I get it, be tough, be strategic, but I don't want to be that guy. I don't want to be manipulative. I just want to build a good product and treat people well. You think you are being moral. Pause. Let me hold up a mirror. You aren't being moral. You are being harmless, and there is a massive difference. You think your refusal to use power is a sign of your virtue. You tell yourself, I'm not playing office politics because I'm above it. I'm not using psychological triggers in my marketing because I'm honest. I'm not crushing my competition because I believe there's room for everyone. You are lying to yourself to soothe the pain of your own impotence. Machiavelli saw right through this disguise. He knew that most people who claim to be good are simply people who lack the courage to be effective. He wrote, "A man who wishes to make a profession of goodness in everything must necessarily come to grief among so many who are not good." But let's go deeper. Let's look at the shadow. You say you want to provide for your family. You say you want to retire your parents. You say you want to change the world with your product, but you refuse to do what is necessary to acquire the resources to actually do those things. Is it moral to let your business fail and fire all your employees because you were too nice to fire the one toxic manager who was sinking the ship? Is it moral to let your family struggle financially because you were too proud to learn how to sell? Is it moral to let a mediocre competitor dominate the market with an inferior product because you felt that aggressive marketing was Ike? Your morality is actually cowardice wrapped in a prettier word. You are like a surgeon who refuses to cut the patient because he doesn't want to cause pain. The patient dies because of your kindness. The prince cuts. The prince causes pain. And the patient lives. Who is the moral one? This is the mirror of naivety, and it is the hardest thing to look into. You have to accept that the world is not a nursery. It is a jungle. In a nursery, if you cry, someone brings you milk. In a jungle, if you cry, something hears you and eats you. You are acting like you are still in the nursery. You are waiting for the fairness police to show up and arrest the bad guys. You are waiting for the meritocracy committee to hand you your check. They are not coming. If you don't use these tools, persuasion, leverage, perception, ruthlessness, do you think your competitors will agree to a ceasefire? Do you think they will say, "Oh, well, since you're being nice, we'll be nice too"? No. They will use every single weapon I have described to take your market share, your customers, and your future. They will use your goodness against you. They will feast on your hesitation. Machiavelli is not telling you to be evil. He is telling you to be armed. Among other evils which being unarmed brings you, it causes you to be despised. There it is again. Despised. The world despises the weak, even as it pays lip service to the meek. We love the underdog in the movie, but in the boardroom we hire the winner. We follow the winner. We pay the winner. You have a choice. You can keep your clean hands. You can stay pure. You can tell yourself that you never compromised, you never manipulated, you never played the game. And you can take that purity to the grave, leaving behind nothing but a legacy of could have been. Or you can dirty your hands. You can pick up the weapons of the fox and the lion. You can accept that to build a kingdom, you must sometimes do things that make you uncomfortable. You can accept that power is not given to the good, it is taken by the daring. The first million requires you to kill the nice guy inside you. Not the good guy. You can still be good. You can still be generous with your wealth once you have it. You can still be kind to your people from a position of strength. But the nice guy, the one who needs approval, the one who is afraid of conflict, the one who thinks no is a bad word, he has to die today. If you don't kill him, he will kill your dreams. He is the saboteur. He is the reason you are still watching videos about success instead of being the success others watch. Break the mirror. Stop admiring your own virtue. It is a vanity that is costing you a fortune. The world doesn't need another martyr. It needs a prince. You have reached the end of this transmission. The screen will go dark in a moment. You will put your phone down. You will look up at your room, your office, your life, and you will face the only choice that actually matters. Everything we have discussed, the lion, the fox, the cruelty, the appearances, the rejection of neutrality, it is all useless if you do not make this specific decision right now. It is the choice between the kingdom and the crowd. Option is seductive. It is easy. It is the path you were on before you clicked this video. You can tell yourself, that was interesting but a bit extreme. You can go back to your job. You can go back to hoping. You can go back to being the nice guy who waits his turn. If you choose this, I want you to visualize your future. Really see it. See yourself in 5 years. You are still in the same chair. You are still complaining about the same boss. You are still worrying about the price of gas. You are watching other people, people less intelligent than you, people with less talent than you, living the life you wanted. You will see them on Instagram. You will see them in the news. And you will feel that bitterness rising in your throat like bile. You will say, that should have been me. But it won't be you. Because when the moment came to seize the sword, you chose to stay in the crowd. You chose safety. And the crowd is a meat grinder. The crowd is where dreams go to die, trampled by the stampede of the average. Option B is terrifying. Option B is the decision to become a sovereign. It means you stop asking for permission. It means you stop apologizing for your ambition. It means you accept the burden of command. If you choose this, you will be lonely. The fox is always alone. The lion hunts alone. You will lose friends who don't understand your new intensity. You will lose partners who are threatened by your growth. You will have sleepless nights where you question everything. But you will be alive. For the first time in your life, you will not be a spectator. You will be the gladiator in the arena. The first million is not about the cars. It is not about the watches. Those are toys for children. The first million is about the exit. It is the price of your freedom. It is the fuck you money that allows you to look at any boss, any client, any situation that disrespects you and walk away without a flinch. Until you have that million, you are a slave to necessity. You are forced to tolerate disrespect because you need the paycheck. You are forced to compromise your vision because you need the funding. Money is not evil. Money is sovereignty. Money is the wall you build between yourself and the chaos of the world. Machiavelli wrote his book for a specific prince, urging him to liberate Italy from the barbarians. He ended with a plea for action. This opportunity must not be let slip. For to the bold, all things are open. The barbarians are at the gate. Inflation, obsolescence, AI. The collapse of the old institutions. They are coming for your comfort. They are coming for your safe job. You can wait to be conquered. Or you can build your fortress. The window is closing. The digital gold rush will not last forever. The opportunity to build a personal empire from your bedroom is a historical anomaly, and the door is creaking shut. Are you going to slip through it? Or are you going to be left outside, knocking, explaining to your children why you were too moral to win? The prince does not knock. The prince kicks the door down. This is not a video. This is an intervention. The next action you take, the very next email you send, the next dollar you demand, the next conflict you handle, defines who you are. Do not go back to sleep. Do not let the fog of mediocrity settle back over your eyes. Wake up, sharpen the knife. Conquer the million. The world belongs to the cold. The world belongs to the bold. The world belongs to you, but only if you have the stomach to take it. The simulation ends now. The game begins.